You want to see the best of action. Boxing is alive this weekend. And this is the best show on the whole planet. It's still news, instant sports, airing on a band radio scope, on our YouTube channel at News Institute Sports, and of course on all the podcasts, including Apple Podcast and Google Podcast. My name is Ladija Adebowale. I have with me today, I have Oracle Kachi with me, and I have Olawale with me. Guys, you want to introduce yourself?
Sports fans, what a weekend of sports. You might say it's a slow news week, but so many things still happen in the sporting background, from Newcastle to the lineal champion retaining his title. Stay tuned. We have so much to discuss.
All right, perfect. Alali.
Yeah, good day, sporting fans around the world. Welcome to the show once again. It's been an eventful weekend, despite the fact that there was no club football. We have a lot to discuss with you today.
All right, perfect. Where do we start from? We start from the fight between Frank Sanchez and Efe Ajagba. Ajagba, you can remember, is the only guy to have fought a boxing match and won technically with a knockout without throwing a punch because his opponent actually ran away. But yesterday night was not a good one for Efe Ajagba. It was giving boxing lesson. Just taking off the point of the commentator, it was given a boxing lesson. It wasn't so much big of discrepancies between both boxers, but we saw his weakness. Kachi, you want to elucidate on that?
Yes. So the fight between Frank Sanchez and Efe Ajagba was one of the undercard on the Fury Wilder version 3 fight we saw over the weekend. Both of them being touted as new kid on the blocks. Efe with 15 wins as at the time of the fight, Sanchez with 18 wins. And but Efe on the night fighting with someone who was cerebrally better, who had better feet movement, who had better hand-eye coordination, and was a better counter fighter, showed how much work and how much Efe needs to work on his craft before he can be taken serious. If he held his own, we have to say that it wasn't as if he was brutalized, but the way Frank Sanchez was able to score easy jab points simply because he could change his stance. He fought with at least 3 different stances: the orthodox, the southpaw, and the counterpunch stance throughout the fight. Efe could not make in-fight adjustments. It looked like he had only plan A, and when plan A did not work, he had nothing else to do. He was still able to land a few big right hands, which he's famous for, but Sanchez, being bigger, being quicker, was able to withstand it. I have to also say that in the 7th round, Frank Sanchez got away with a controversial knockdown.
Exactly. That was like a turning point in the game.
Yes, it was.
Because Efe was on the ground already. But
he was defenseless. If it was on the ground, he was defenseless. And Frank Sanchez landed a terrific right hook, right square on the jaw. I'm very sure if it was me, I would probably suffer from concussion for days. But the referee did not deduct points, instead recorded that as a knockdown. But let's not take away from the technical masterclass that Frank Sanchez exhibited. Is he ready to now move into the conversation of next challengers? I don't think so. I think he was just a right opponent who was not as brilliant as he was. But Frank Sanchez is still some ways away from being a major competitor.
All right, perfect. I actually agree with you for the first time in history. 100% what you said. I agree with you, and I feel neither Efe nor Sanchez is actually ready for the next stage. Efe, for all the love I have for him, he needs to work on his craft. He needs to show diversity to the way he fights. And like you rightly said, at the 7th round, that changed the scenario, because after the 7th round, if he could not throw punches again, It
Yeah,
looks
no, he couldn't.
it looks delusioned, like he doesn't even know where he is again. That's why I feel. Anyway, I start to be corrected.
I agree. I think he was concussed.
Exactly.
And they might have to look back at that fight and reprimand the umpire, because replays clearly showed that if he was down on one knee, he wasn't even holding up his guard. He basically just wanted the ref to say, okay, split up for a few seconds, get back up and continue the fight.
Exactly.
But it was a if it was in the ordinary course of boxing, that would have been a big right hand. But it was controversial.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the only punch Frank Sanchez threw.
Yeah.
I think Sanchez, because the first 3 rounds, if he was leading it, and from round 4 going up, Sanchez came back gradually. You know, he started showing Efe different looks that Efe could not adjust to, which tells you how that's. And I think when we get to the Wilder Fury fight and we analyze it, you realize that's also because Efe is like Wilder.
It's like Wilder like, exactly.
It's Wilder like. So when you take off his major strength, how he's able to adjust to is a big learning point for Efe right now.
All right, perfect. We hope it does not turn out to be like Wilder. And for all we know, Wilder is not a bad boxer. He has fought 45 matches, if I'm not wrong, won 42 out of it, draw 1, and lost the only 2 career fights to the Gypsy King. And of course, to the main event of the night, which was the Wilder versus the Gypsy King. I was telling Kachi behind cameras that who goes from fighting a 12-round match to clubbing the same night and miming song on the stage. Tyson Fury is I don't know. It's something else. Olade, I'm going to come to you. We expected this. We expected it. We knew at the back of our minds that Tyson was going to win this. We knew that. But Wilder did not go down without a fight. He knocked Tyson out twice in the 4th round. If not for the slow count of the referee, we could have something different. Wilder knocked him out. Tyson knocked Wilder down in the 3rd round as well, before the finishing move, the Mortal Kombat finishing move of the 11th round. So your thought on the match, Lali? I'm not sure Lali is with us right now. Take the lead on this one.
I think that. It's a fight. At least kudos to Wilder for making it a fight, getting to the 11th round. But I just felt he wasn't really prepared to fight for that long. I think his strategy was probably to knock out Fury within the first 4 rounds. And since he couldn't achieve that, you could see from round 5, it was pure struggle for the for professional. Wow. Beyond the first 4 rounds, all he did was I think, and what do you call him? The approach from Tyson Fury, it was just very professional. It took him out easily, and I just felt like Kachi said, I think there is a bit of similarity between Wilder and what do you call it, Efe Ajagba. They are too predictable, and they just have one way of fighting. And so far, that one way is not working. There is no way for them to win. There's
no other option for them. All right. Sheyi, I'm going to come to you now. Welcome, Sheyi. Anyways, our runaway co-host. We're talking about the Wilder Tyson Fury match, and I'm going to ask you a question: who goes from fighting an heavyweight bout to clubbing and miming on the stage the same night? That's my question for you, honestly.
Oh goodness! Oh, Debo, man, as in, you have to say Tyson Fury is the baddest guy on the planet. I think that statement is enough as to be an answer for that question. Tyson Fury showed that he's the baddest heavyweight boxer in the world. He went down twice in the fourth round, as in, like Olawale said, bigs up to Wilder. Wilder actually wanted to knock out Tyson Fury in the fourth round.
Mhm.
But like from the first part of the trilogy, Tyson Fury got up twice. And guess what? In the 11th round, Tyson Fury looked like a man that's still ready to go another 8 rounds. It shows that this man is a pure athlete. With that particular weight, you can still move around, you can still box, you can still dictate the pace of a bout at that level. I think Tyson Fury is another class in the heavyweight boxing division of this world. Throw anybody to Tyson at the moment, I think is just going to be
the person is a dead man.
I'm telling you, with that weight, and he's still at 11 rounds, he's still dictating the pace, he's still showing that I can go additional 5 rounds. It shows that this guy is fit, mentally ready for the bout, and also is a king in the ring.
All
Bigs
right.
up to Tyson Fury. He's done quite well for himself. I think he should look forward to unifying this division and maybe in the next 5 years retire with the 4 belts. Sincerely, I was truly impressed by his performance on the night.
And he's still young. Can't think of it. He's just 33 years old.
Yeah, 33.
Yeah.
He can
He's still a
do
young guy.
additional 5 years.
Yeah, he's still a young guy. And of course, Kachi, I know you're dying to say something about the match as well.
Yes, I mean, this was a fight that really, really needed a trilogy. I remember we've had several arguments wondering if there was a need for a third fight. And it turned out that we needed this third fight. Wilder was vastly improved from the last time they met. That's Fury Wilder 2. And all thanks should go to Malik Scott, his new trainer. He bulked up, weighing in at about 238 pounds, which was his heaviest. He looked like he meant business. And as Wale alluded, it looked like he had a game plan, which was the first 5 rounds is the decisive round. If you don't get a TKO, then, well, Bob will not be your uncle, so to speak. But like Mike Tyson said, that every boxer has a plan until the first punch hits you. and I thought Wilder had a plan, but as soon as he got taken down in the 3rd round, he reverted to form, which was forget the jab. I just want to set up my right hand punch, which was what everybody knew Wilder to do. But beyond that, credit must be given to Wilder for surviving or for taking as much punishment as he did. I mean, from the 5th round up, and Wale and Sheyi alluded to this, it was a masterclass. The jabs were working. He couldn't, and all he did was, even when the referee looked like, should I call off this fight, Wilder would throw a haymaker punch that would make you say, oh, yeah, it's not completely out of it.
Yeah.
Everybody who was on that arena got value for their money. 11 fantastic rounds. We're grateful to the boxing world for getting that fight. Even Wilder left on his shield like he's always wanted to do, which is beat me, knock me out. Don't let my camp surrender on my behalf.
Exactly.
He's a champion. He's just right now not the second best. And I'm sure you will get to that later. But one thing I took out of that fight, after seeing them 3 times, is Anthony Joshua cannot beat these guys. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Joshua cannot beat these guys.
I don't know why you have to beat Joshua. The poor guy.
I'm sorry. I have to.
Sheyi, you want to say something else?
Yes. Debo. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I think Kachi did good justice to that bout. Also, I think it's going to be necessary for us to put this as a contender for the fight of the year. Whether putting down Fury down twice in this bout,
Yeah.
I tell you, any other heavyweight in this division might not survive that. Wilder coming back from those 2 knockdowns, putting Wilder down 3 times and eventually knocking him down in the 11th. I think this is up there for the fight of the year for the Ring magazine. That's what I would like to add to this.
All right, perfect. And of course, Emma Raducanu, the young lady, lost in the Indian Wells. It's not expected. She lost to the world number 49. And of course, LeBron James has no vote from the executive as a potential MVP in the NBA. That's surprising, Kachi, if you ask me. I don't know. I think it's surprising. Yeah.
Surprising this year, but not surprising. It happened last year as well. The GMs did not vote him as a potential MVP. And you, as you would know, up until the time he got the injury, he was in the lead, or rather in the running for winning MVP last year. I've always said, count LeBron out at your own peril, but you have to also understand where the GMs are coming from. Nobody, not even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, not Wilt Chamberlain, not the great Michael Jordan, was dominant in year 19. In year 19, Michael Jordan was playing whatever he was playing with the Washington Wizards.
Yeah.
They did not even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But any team LeBron goes to is a perennial contender. You have to say that even though the GMs see him one way, the pro NBA players and those who know major media houses regarded LeBron as top 5 in 3 of the 5 positions played on the court. As a small forward, top 5, as a power forward, top 5, and as a point guard. And if care is not taken, if LeBron plays for as long as next season, he will become the highest, the player with the total highest number of points. He's already the highest number of assists, if I remember. And this is for someone who is past first. He's going to, no, I think he's currently leading in points. He's going to be highest in assists. And this, so it lets you know that you only disregard LeBron at your own peril. But it's year 19. I don't expect him to be the leading name in the NBA anymore.
People, like you said, everybody have a plan until they get it in the face. And that means until you get hit by LeBron, you can see him off my screen. Once you get hit by LeBron, you have a plan. And of course, Wiggins actually took his vaccine. Is vaccinated right now. So we have just one stubborn guy left in the whole of NBA now that doesn't want to take the vaccine. And his name, he goes, you know who I'm talking about? We're talking about nobody else apart from Kyrie Irving. And of course, we'll go on a quick break right now. When we come back, we'll be jumping straight into the world of football. Not so much happening in the world of football, but I'm still tantalizing enough. Khabib talking to Ferguson. Yeah, so we're back right now. I will be jumping straight into the world of football, where we have a couple of things that is happening right now. And the first among the best is the fact that Mo Salah wants more money. Mo Salah, as it stands right now, is clamoring to get £500,000 in a week from Liverpool. And that means Liverpool needs to break their wage structure. We understand and we know that Mo Salah is, for me, is the most underrated player in the world, probably closely behind N'Golo Kante. But for me, it's one of the best players in the world, one of the best attacking players in the world. We're talking about players like Lewandowski, Ronaldo, Messi. Salah should be in the same conversation as well. But the question is it right for Liverpool to break their wage structure because of Mo Salah? If Mo Salah leaves, decides to leave Liverpool for a new club, we've seen it over and over again, will he be able to replicate is formed under a new system at a new club? I'm going to start with you, Sheyi, on this one. £500,000 every week.
Okay. Thank you very much, Debo. I think let me start with this. I think Mo Salah has really grown as a footballer, as an attacking power in the world football at this stage. What he did, he came to Chelsea, was unable to really get his foot on the ground. He went to Roma, and we saw what he did. From Roma, he came to Liverpool. So far, he has won the league, he has won the Champions League, he has won the Golden Boot, he has won the best player, he has been on the podium talking about the first, best
top
1, 2, 3 players, top 3 in the world. And I think he deserves to decide where he wants to play and also to decide what he wants to earn. Over the years, even last year when Liverpool was a little bit down because of their defense, I think Mo Salah was still able to be like top 2 in the people that in the Golden Boot. So it shows what he brings to the team. It shows what he has contributed to Liverpool. I think this is a good moment, a good time for him to decide what he wants, how much he wants to earn. And I think Liverpool needs to listen. Because at this moment, without Mo Salah, I think Liverpool will lose probably up to like 40% of their strength. And I think he's in the right position to bargain for whatever he wants. Liverpool needs to sit down, look at what they tend to gain in terms of staying at the top of the Premier League and also challenging for the Champions League, and listen to Mo Salah. They need to sit down, get the best deal in this, and move on.
All right, perfect. Kachi, we've seen them try to bring in players like Shaqiri, Diogo Jota, clamoring for the young guys from Rennes, and we've seen them, but obviously those guys cannot fill the boots of Mo Salah. Mo Salah is not getting younger. Probably the last big pay before he retires or before his career start going downward. So do you think he earns this? Like earns the right to the 500K?
Earns the right to demand, I think he has, but has he earned that money? I don't think so. And I'll give you my reasons, right? I mean, every man has the right to determine what his value is. And I will never fault Mo Salah for saying, I think I'm worth $500,000 every week.
Every week.
However, as Sheyi chronicled his career from FC Basel to Chelsea, taking a 2-step back to Roma and then moving up to Liverpool, you must realize this. And this is what Mo Salah's agent and Mo Salah himself should put into consideration. First, the condition has to be ideally suited for Mo Salah to thrive in. Mo Salah has not shown us that he can thrive in adversity, because we've not seen him. The only place we saw him with adversity was in Chelsea, where Mourinho did not believe in him and he left. In Rome, the team was built around Mo Salah. In Liverpool, we can say Mo Salah, VVD, Virgil van Dijk, and possibly Henderson, possibly, are the people that team is built around. All I'm saying right now is Mo Salah knows, or I expect him to know, that should he demand to leave to test free agency and leave Liverpool, the big clubs he's looking to go to, who might be able to afford his wages, already have their linchpins. And anywhere he goes to right now, he will just be one of the guys. He will not be the main guy. So sometimes there are some things, some benefits you get that cannot be quantified in money, in weekly wages. The prestige, the respect, the way he's looked at in Liverpool, he probably will not get that elsewhere. Am I saying he should not demand for $500,000? I'm not saying so, but I'm saying, should Liverpool come back to say, we cannot give you $500,000. We will try and increase your wage significantly, and you will continue to remain the linchpin in our team. I think he should consider that. Whether that's good enough for him, I don't know. That's not me. I'm only saying right now, he should not always think the grass is greener on the other side.
All right, perfect. And now to the Ballon d'Or, the 30-man list has been released. I don't really believe in this is it trophy or this individual award anymore. I don't really believe in it anymore because it looks like it's about who is more marketable. That's why you see Jorginho being the best player, touted as being the best player in Europe. It's just about who's marketable. But in your own opinion, for me, the major contenders will still be Messi and Lewandowski. For me, I stand to be corrected anyways. Those will be the major contenders. I hope for the sake of football and for the sake of all right taking human being, they don't put Jorginho on the podium this time around. I hope so. I sincerely hope so. They will not do that. They made a mistake with their so-called European Footballer of the Year. I hope they're not going to do that because we know what the guy is capable of. We know what he can do. But for you, Kachi, I'm going to stay with you, Kachi. We have Harry Kane. Harry Kane did fantastically well last season. Ruben Diaz, Ronaldo had the poor, not so poor, okay, by standard, the poor season with Juventus, by standard. Karim Benzema had a wonderful season with Real Madrid, and Kevin De Bruyne was injured for most of the season last season. So I wouldn't say Romelu Lukaku brought Inter Milan back from the dead. Gerard Moreno won the Europa Cup with Villarreal. Ryan Sterling, I don't know what he's doing on the list. Luis Suarez, I don't know what he's doing on the list. Of course, Mo Salah, Neymar, I don't know what he's doing on the list as well. Messi Mount, perfect, wonderful player. Riyad Mahrez, Lautaro Martinez, of course. Harry Kane, N'Golo Kante, Samuel Kaya, I don't know what he's doing on the list as well. But very similar, I don't know what he's doing. Erling Haaland, Phil Foden, Bruno Fernandes, wonderful and fantastic player, and Donnarumma. In your own opinion, Kachi, would you think should be catching away this award? If not, for me, I'll cancel it.
I think it should be Lewandowski for obvious reasons. Obviously, he's playing in the best team in Germany, but every day, every week, he displays his importance. You know, this is a team that does well with him, but that a team that does well without him, but does much better with him on that team. He improves that team. He improves also the Polish national team. I know that the usual suspects, just to get them interested and get people talking, will be there. The 5-man, I think they will shortlist to 10, and then they'll shortlist to 5. I think the 5 men, and I'm not a betting man, but I think it's going to be Messi, Ronaldo, Lewandowski, Salah, and Jorginho. But I expect this year to be another year that neither Messi nor Ronaldo will win it. Although you can also give the argument that Messi took this current Barcelona team, say apart from Griezmann, who was a non-factor even when he was in Barcelona, took this current Barcelona team and competed for the La Liga. This is the same thing that without Messi is languishing in mid-table. That alone shows you his importance.
Yeah.
But as we've come to know, most individual awards are usually given on the back of team success. And that is why I think Jorginho will be there, but I don't expect him to win. If he wins, then I guess FIFA just played to the UEFA. If Jorginho wins, let me put this hot take out there. If Jorginho wins, it tells me that UEFA is kind of stronger than FIFA right now. That means they are able to influence FIFA even being a member nation if Jorginho should win it. I expect Lewandowski to win it. If Lewandowski does not win it, then Messi should take it.
Wow, 7 for Messi then. Shay, do you agree with Kachi? I do, anyways. Shay with us? I don't believe so. Shay is
yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, Debo. Thanks. And thank you very much, Kachi, for that analysis. I have to mention that Robert Lewandowski actually supposed to be the reigning Ballon d'Or winner. I see no reason. I would like to start this way, that I see no reason why they had to cancel last year's Ballon d'Or. Robert Lewandowski was perfectly suited to be the winner. I still don't understand. Quite a lot of awards went through virtually last year. Only the Ballon d'Or was suspended. If I have the opportunity, I would like to ask the organizers why they went ahead and put that on hold. So for that alone, I still think the guy is still the best player so far this year. So I think it deserves, it is like head above all other players in the world to win this particular award. And if anybody else wins this award, I will be totally disappointed in the award and possibly might just discredit this award going forward.
I already did. I did years and years ago. I did that years and years ago. I think I started discrediting the awards in 2003 or 2002 when Thierry Henry scored 32 goals over the course of the season and had 28 assists, and they gave the award to a certain Pavel Nedved. And I think there was this particular season that they gave it to Buffon as well. And I'm wondering, okay, whatever, it's your award. I'm just.
If I can chip in, Debo, for me, the discredit, so to speak, sets in when, outer-worldly talents such as Xavi and Iniesta never got to taste it. I mean, I know, yes, sometimes it's the goals that drive the fans crazy, but you should have seen the back work that Iniesta. I mean, Iniesta, the very first year Iniesta played in the Champions League against AC Milan, my dear club, it was reported in the news that the then owner of AC Milan, and who was the Prime Minister of Italy then, flew back as the Barcelona airplane was leaving Milan. Italy. He was also flying to Barcelona to say, "Come, give me this young boy. Just name your price." That was how good he was.
How precious.
And that was how instrumental he was. This man scored the winning goal in the World Cup. In a World Cup final when everything was deadlocked against a very physical Dutch team. And yet he did not win it. Xavi did not win it. And we've seen, for defenders, it's easy to argue that, well, it's not a fine craft that they do the dirty work. So you don't really complain when defenders don't win it. But cerebral midfield players not winning it, it boils my blood. So right now, when I hear Ronaldo has 5, and I'm a big Ronaldo fan, or Messi has 6, I'm like, well, two from each one of them should have gone to 4 different people, in my opinion. You should have gone to 4 different people.
Of course. I totally agree with you. And of course, to the, is it the European, I don't know. Is it the European Super League or the European Super Cup?
UEFA Nations League.
UEFA Nations League. Thank you very much for that correction, Kachi. Italy versus Belgium in the 3rd place. Belgium, like we know them, they lost to France, while Spain defeated Italy in the semifinals, but in the 3rd place game, which is not associated with UEFA competitions, but we're having it for the first time. The best loser, Kedah, so to speak. Belgium, hit the woodwork at least 3 times against the Italians, but Italians were more clinical and put them to sword. Kevin De Bruyne coming in later in the match to try to test things up for Belgium, but a little bit too late for them. Shay, how if you were Roberto Martinez now, losing Eden Hazard and Romelu Lukaku just before the third place game, how would you feel? And even though your KDB is not fit enough to start the game, it was not even fit enough to play that match. It was just. So Shay, it was just a schmuck for Belgium. In the long run, Italy continued and won the bronze medal. How would you feel if you are Roberto Mancini right now? I think Mancini should be his phone will be ringing pretty soon. It might go to Newcastle.
Anyway, anybody that goes to Newcastle right now will be sitting on
a pile of money.
A pile of money to make decisions with. But I would like to say something about the Belgian team. They seem to me like the former Spanish team, underachievers. Also, I would like to add the Netherlands team in that bucket, underachievers. That is what they seem to me right now, until they are ready to prove me wrong.
I don't think they will anyways.
And I think I'll leave them in that bucket for now. The Italian team are the present European champions. I don't think that should be like an upset, right? For them to take apart the Belgian team. Kudos to them. They did the right thing. Don't forget that also this competition was hosted in Italy also. So they had the support of their fans, the belief, right, in the nation. So I think that's not out of place for them to put any fire from the Belgian team. So I think that's what it is. But Roberto Martinez needs to really go back.
Oh, okay, Martinez, sorry.
Yeah, Martinez. Go back to the drawing board. even need to make something out of this Belgian team. They're the number one in the world. They have all the stars. These guys are unplayable in their different clubs. He needs to go back to the drawing board to make something out of this crop of players. Otherwise, I think the Belgian FA will show him the door out.
All right, perfect. If they do, I hope Thierry already gets the job. Kachi, I'm going to come to you now. Spain, France. As expected, we saw what Gavin did. The young talented 17 or 18-year-old boy. What he did against the Italians, breaking their unbeaten record. And indeed, they came to France, against France. They played pretty well, held their own, scored their first win in the 64th minute, held their own, of course, until Karim Benzema did what he knows how to do best, and Kylian Mbappe. And funny enough, since Benzema came back, we don't seem to see Oliver Giroud near the team again.
Well, remember Karim Benzema once mentioned that you cannot compare a Ferrari to a Volkswagen. So I am not.
Let me correct you. There wasn't a Volkswagen. He said a Ferrari with a cat.
Oh, okay. All right. So, thanks. I even tried to make him feel better by calling it a Volkswagen. I know Oliver Giroud represents a club I hold dear to my heart in Milan, but I have to tell you the truth that Karim Benzema is by every means an upgrade from what Giroud offers. I think it lends credence to the argument I've been reading about lately about how players have been complaining about their burnout and how they feel. You mentioned the young Gavi. This is somebody who, since the beginning of last year, has played close to 100 games. He represented his team in the Euros, he was prominent in the league, played in the Olympics, did not get any break, played again. Pedri, sorry, not Gavi, Pedri. And Spain and France, for all the arguments and the criticisms you will give to Didier Deschamps, he just knows how to play tournament football. There are some coaches that are like that. They may not know how to motivate you over 38 games, but over 5, 6, 7 games, he can bring the concentration. In this case, it was just 2 games. He could bring them to concentrate on what the ultimate goal was. On the day Spain had more possession, as usual, everybody expected to concede possession to Spain. But you have to give credit to Benzema, who, in spite of all the negative vibes or the issues he had with Didier Deschamps, the court case in France, as soon as they said, come back to the team, put aside all ego, he grabbed, he didn't even argue to get the number 9 or the number 10. He wears his 19, but he lets his goal do the talking. Yeah. I thought over the course of it, they were deserved winners because they took their chances. Because of the caliber of people that are winning this UEFA Nations League, is beginning to give it a good clout. First, it was Portugal. Now we are seeing France winning, and the quality of football we've also seen exhibited, making it really it will gradually pick pace. We saw if you remember when it used to be called the King Fahd Cup. I'm talking of the Gold Cup. Is it the Gold Cup?
Confederations
Cup. When it was called the King Fahd Invitational. But when they saw the caliber of people winning it, people started to give it credibility. More credibility. So I think it will get some credibility. France were deserved winners. It was a great semi-final victory over Belgium. It shows you that you can never write off France. They may not play well cohesively, but they have the individual brilliance to always get the results. And kudos to them. The trophy resides in France.
All right, perfect. Olale, I'm going to come to you now. A subtle jab being thrown around in the course of the week. First was Alex Ferguson. After the game, the last game United lost against Everton, they said, you don't keep your best players on the bench. And next was Khabib, noting that as well. Usain Bolt came out to say that as well. And of course, lastly, Santos, over the course of this national break, said Ronaldo lacks match fitness. This is someone that's played like 90 minutes back to back to back, apart from the game at Old Trafford against Everton. It puts Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on the spotlight. It's a different ball game when the guy Neville is coming out to criticize Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's decision. It's a different ball game when I am criticizing him or you are criticizing him. But when it comes to the best coach of all time, saying that, an enigma in Old Trafford, saying that, it lays more precedence to it and more pressure on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Your thought on that?
There will always be pressure. I think the pressure on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is actually real, irrespective of all this criticism. And if you look at the pattern, most of this criticism have been coming from I think people that probably doesn't share any relationship with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, not the Gary Neville have been his former teammates or Rio Ferdinand. Yeah, but I think no matter how the criticism, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is still safe until it is mathematically impossible for United to make the Champions League. That is only when the Glazers family will probably review, and that is
to qualify for the Champions League. To qualify for the Champions League,
when it's mathematically impossible for United to qualify for the Champions League. That's the only, you could David Moyes. There were lots of cries for the way to be start right from the beginning of the season, but they waited until United lost to Everton, and when it became mathematically impossible for United to make the Champions League. The same thing with Louis Van Gaal. Van Gaal was sacked despite winning the FA Cup, but because United couldn't make the Champions League. Mourinho, the writing was on the wall that the way it was going, there was no way United could have recovered and end up in the Champions League. So United board are people that are more of their approach is more of a business they have a business-like approach rather than a football fan approach. I can give you two examples. Abramovich sacked Lampard and AVB at the most very difficult time. But that is what people who love football do. Real Madrid do the same thing too. So for me, this criticism will be there. It will always be there. But as long as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can patch up his result the way he does, win some couple of games, go back to his default mode.
Olale, so in your own opinion, Ferguson coming out to say this doesn't change so much?
At all.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
All right, perfect. Olale, I'm going to stay with you. We've seen an upscale in football. We've seen the demise of how football clubs should be run. And I'm saying this in relationship to money coming into football. Real Madrid have always been rich. They've always been wealthy. So I would just put a step back and start from probably Chelsea. Chelsea were never a bad club to start with, but they are not one of the big clubs. So to speak, under inverted commas. Money came into Chelsea, we saw how it changed, right? Same thing with Manchester City that was relegated about 10 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Now, they are part of the top 6. PSG has never been a bad club, but money changed everything for them. They have a player they bought for about 200 million euros. Another one bought for about 180 million euros, all in the space of 2 transfer windows. Money changed everything for them. Now we're seeing bigger money coming to England. They said the new owners of Newcastle are worth about 20 times or 30 times what Abramovich is worth. They are worth more than 10 times what the owners of PSG are worth. And they are worth about 20 times of what the owners of Man City are worth. They are worth, by the rough estimate, is about 320 billion.
320 billion.
320 billion. And I don't think it's dollars. I think it's in pounds because they're in England, right? And that's crazy if you ask me. And that's scary. I tell people, I said, by the start of next season, we'll begin to hear stuff like top 7. Because automatically,
No,
Kasu.
we'll remove Spurs away. Spurs from
Okay.
that top 6. That's just
Oh,
we'll see about top
okay.
6.
Okay, we'll see our top 6. Okay. But by next season, would probably have maybe not a world-class coach. Maybe not. We saw how we went with Man City. They brought in, I think it was first, Steve Bruce started with it. No, not Steve Bruce. This United, former United player. What's his name again?
Mark Hughes.
Mike Hughes. Thank you very much. Mike Hughes came. Then later was Mancini winning their first league.
Roberto Mancini.
Yeah. Then Pellegrini came, and he did not go the way for the almighty Tinkerman,
Pep
Guardiola. And we see what Man City are today. Now, Newcastle are looking to get Mario Cardi in January. Graham Potter, the coach of Brighton and Hove right now, same in January. It's been touted that Steve Bruce will be sacked before the end of this month. I don't know what his crime is. Antonio Martial.
It might be sacked tomorrow. It might be sacked from Tuesday.
Antonio Martial could be moving potentially to Newcastle. Same thing with Donny van Beek, Jesse Lingard. It's crazy. Your thought on this?
Wow.
Your thought on this?
Yeah, I think for all the success football recorded in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, I think football was ever prepared for the outsiders. The outsiders who just love the game and who wants to turn football clubs to their personal toy. Football was never prepared for that. And I think the writing was on the wall even in the 70s, 80s. In the 80s, Berlusconi pumped in a lot of money into AC Milan that gave them some unhealthy advantage over the other clubs. But because AC Milan was a traditional big club, most people didn't read meaning to that. So there were no regulations about who can own a club and what does the requirements, this and that, salary cap, nothing like that. Everything about football was left open, right from the ownership style. The ownership style in Spain is quite different from the ownership style in England, quite different from the ownership style in Germany. So this made it a loose-end thing that it's just out there. And because of, let me say, the labor law in Europe, which makes it very liberal for people to own business. So far, the country they are doing it within the country's regulation. So it's very difficult, and I think football didn't take the right action after Roman Abramovich took over Chelsea. That was the first writing on the wall, and because of the way it was easy for, like you said, Chelsea was actually a big club then. Prior to that, because 1998 they won the Cup Winners' Cup in 98, they won FA Cup 97 and 2000. They were in the Champions League quarterfinal in 2000, but they were not that dominant team until that Abramovich money came in. I think football didn't react well enough.
That's a club that did not win the league for 50 years.
50 years, and they won it they won it 2 years after somebody took over with some very, very bad spending. I think that was the point football should have taken action. At this point in time, I think there is no way. It's a bit too late. Look at the case of PSG. At the time in France, if you leave out the Lyon dominance out of it, there was a time for like 7-8 years in France that 8 different clubs won the league title. That has become something of the past now. So I think football failed to take action at the right time after the Roman Abramovich era, after Roman Abramovich took over Chelsea. And for the investors, I think it was a smart one going for Newcastle rather than trying to buy a United at a valuation of $3.5 billion
Bro, they can afford it. Even if it was United, they
can afford it, but I think it's too smarter going for a 300 million Newcastle that
302
you can
million.
transform in how many years to United. You can
exactly.
So exactly. And because of I think the people running football, I think they agreed over time, and most of them couldn't resist the money coming from the Middle East. They allowed some of these things.
They allowed
some of these things.
Olale, kudos to them though. They tried to stop these guys, but politics came into play. But we're not yet to discuss the policy part of it, anyways.
Of course.
Policy came into play, I just want us to quickly move on. I want us to quickly move on to other couple of things.
Is this you can't allow Man City? See, I understand Newcastle fans. But what I'm saying is this: I understand Newcastle fans to an extent. You can't. Man City was in 2008. I initially took over City.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, for Newcastle fan, who cares about the human rights record of the owners? They just care about somebody making them a contender too.
100%.
You understand? And
100%.
you can't allow the City own to happen. You can't allow City own to happen or PSG own to happen and come and deny
Newcastle the chance for them
to become a big club. So since we allowed it, we just have to let it continue like that.
All right, perfect. Kachi, I'm going to come to you now. I know you have one or two things to say about it. Steve Bruce messed the club up. It's a good chance. It's a good one that the club is transferring to people that actually would love the club, which I'm glad about. I'm not happy as an Arsenal fan. That means Arsenal will never go to Champions League unless they increase the number of participants from England. Go ahead, Kachi.
I'm not so sure I would agree that the people love the club. I think it's just a case of they are seeing clubs now, especially the old Arab money, and them being very forward thinking that the oil may gradually be drying up. This is just a diversification of investment and holdings. And then it's becoming like a toy. For those of you who are used to, who've probably watched the trending Squid Game, there was an analogy there where they said, "Oh, the people who participated in the game are like the horses." You know, so the clubs are becoming playthings for these oil-rich sheikhs and sultans. But that's not to say that they will not pump their money and their time. We've seen Sheikh Mansour do that in Man City. We're seeing them do it in PSG as well. They love the sport. Maybe not as much as we. We love it, but we just don't have the money to invest and buy clubs. You know. However, they still have a big task of changing the narrative in Newcastle. You know, there has to be a cleaning up, a PR that has to take place in Newcastle. Newcastle has the reputation of capitulating or folding. I can't remember if it was Steve Bruce that had that very famous mind game with Sir Alex Ferguson.
Kevin Keegan.
It was Kevin King. Yeah, it was Kevin King. Thank you very much. This was a league that they had to win. And let's not forget that this is not the first time that big money will be coming to Newcastle. There was a time big money came. They had Shearer, they had Owen. They even had our own Obafemi Martins. They've been buying people. They had this Carroll, the Carroll guy. So they have to have a PR change, a very difficult PR job to make Newcastle attractive for big-time players to come. But it will not be as immediate.
This is a different ball game.
Yeah, perfect. I agree with you anyways, Kachi. It's not going to be an immediate thing. And like I said, it's going to be a gradual process. They probably follow suit with what Manchester City did. Don't forget, Man City was not bought by the Arabians.
Do you know what?
Hold on, Olali. It wasn't bought by the Arabians in the first instance. It was first owned by Thailand guy before it moves to the Arabians. So it's going to be a gradual process as well. Olali, I'm going to stay with you on this center back crisis for United right now. Harry Maguire out injured, Rafael Varane out injured as well.
They have Ribery and Lindelof now.
Okay, so that's good enough for United.
That's it. Of course, that's not their problem.
No problem. Okay, their problem
as long as Mark Fred can pass very well.
All right, perfect. And Dusan Vlahovic has rejected contract extension with French. Now, don't forget this guy is being touted for 77 million. It's one of the best news.
Newcastle is waiting. Newcastle is waiting.
Alani said Newcastle is waiting. So we don't have to talk about it again. The Newcastle
is waiting.
And of course, Mark Ashley, that actually real Newcastle, up until this moment is trying to buy out Derby County. Probably they will
He's a
sell.
smart investor.
Yeah,
He has
Derby
made a lot
County-
of money.
Yeah, Derby County is right now, they're in administration. So if Bakashley should go, that would be a wonderful one for Derby. At least players in the championship will not cost so much. Really will be able to retain his job. The minus 12 point deduction will go off as well. And that's the wrap. That's the show for today, guys. Thank you very much. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media and do at News Instanta on Instagram, News Instanta Sports on YouTube, News Instanta 1 on Twitter, and News Instanta on Facebook. Thank you very much, guys. Have a wonderful one.